Alex stepped confidently onto the iron ladder and climbed 60 feet into the air, standing tall and steady on the small platform. Bright lights from below shone on him, making him the center of attention. He looked down. Far below was a small pool, only 6 feet deep, looking tiny from such a height. A crowd had gathered, their faces turned upward, eyes wide in awe. New spectators were still rushing in, waving and cheering. Then Alex spotted his friend Nick, who was speaking excitedly into the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," Nick announced, "the amazing performer Alex is now 60 feet high and about to make his jump. The pool below is only 6 feet deep, so don't blink or you'll miss it. You'll be stunned by his skill." Alex tested the springboard with his foot and looked down carefully. A single wrong move could mean death. The audience kept growing. Some were seeing this daring act for the first time. But inside, Alex felt tired of it all. He was humble, yet weary of risking his life for applause. He dreamed of earning enough money to walk away from this dangerous job forever, to escape the daily struggle between life and death. Still, he sensed that his luck was about to change soon. Just then, the sound of a drum echoed through the air, the signal to jump. Alex leaned forward and dove from 60 feet up. Midway down, he passed through a burning ring, a metal hoop wrapped in kerosene-soaked cloth that had just been set ablaze. He shot through the flames like a bullet and plunged into the pool below. As soon as he hit the water, he straightened his body and surfaced smoothly like a fish. The crowd held their breath, then erupted in thunderous applause when they saw he was safe. Nick rushed to him, throwing a towel around his shoulders and leading him back to the tent so he could change. "A girl came asking for you," Nick said while drying himself off. "Pretty small, nervous, kept catching her breath, said you told her to meet you here." "Oh, that must be Paula Jacobs," Alex said, pulling on his socks. He stood in front of the big mirror on his dressing table, admiring his reflection. He was about 5'7", muscular and well-built. He smiled at himself, a warm, confident smile that never failed to charm the women in the audience. "She lives with her uncle in New York. You can imagine her wealth. She's been staying long-term at the Grand Horizon Hotel, one of the city's top 5-star places. She could easily buy a luxury apartment if she wanted, but money doesn't seem to matter to her." "Paula last week in Malibu. We went to a few beaches for fun, but honestly, later I felt like I'd wasted my time." Nick paused, drying his hair. "Still, I could tell she really wanted to see you. She seemed nervous and desperate. I told her to wait for you at Riverside Cafe." Nick thought for a moment. Despite her slightly tanned skin and natural shine, Paula had a charm that could outshine even fairer girls. "All right," Alex said, slipping on his jacket. "Let her wait a bit. We'll see how serious she really is, and she'll learn not to take my time for granted. If she were a little more attractive—" He smiled at his reflection in the mirror, leaving the sentence unfinished, and walked out. He felt like relaxing. Maybe a few rounds of cards would do it. He never went a day without gambling. As Alex stepped out of his tent, the night was pitch dark. Suddenly, 2 men appeared from the shadows, tall, broad-shouldered, with faces that screamed trouble. Before he could react, they each grabbed an arm and started walking him forward. "Hey there, Alex Carter," said the one on his right. "We saw your jump tonight. Man, even if someone offered me 20 grand, I'd never try something that crazy. Right, Ray?" Ray chuckled. 20 grand? I wouldn't do that for 50. Alex walked between them like a prisoner, his mind racing. These had to be Carlo Price's men. He had almost forgotten about that name. 3 years ago, back in Chicago, he had borrowed money from Carlo and then disappeared. He thought Carlo would have written him off by now, but apparently not. He had changed his name and city several times, yet they had still found him. Now,
There was only one way to survive. He'd have to outsmart them somehow. "I'm not an idiot," I said, forcing a calm tone. "When the cops were after me, I had to disappear fast. I've been on the run ever since, but I never forgot your boss or the loan. That debt's been weighing on me every day. I've been saving, slowly, and came back here to settle it." "The cops again," Ray muttered. "See, Mark, I keep telling you, the police are the root of every problem." "That's right," said Mark with a grin. "Still, I like your honesty, Alex. Brave man, telling it straight. So, tell me, how much have you managed to save so far?" $30,000, I said quietly. "That's all I've got right now. I even collected what I'd loaned to a few friends and brought it all for you."
300,000? Ray sneered. "You really think Carlo Price cares about that pocket change? Right, Mark?" Mark nodded slowly, smirking. "After 3 years of waiting, the boss isn't interested in a few $1,000s. The interest alone has grown to 300,000. 300,000! Alex's head spun. His vision blurred as if someone had slammed him across the skull. "Yeah," Ray said mockingly. "You know the boss lends at high interest. Money doubles in a year, triples in 3. You do the math." 300,000, Alex repeated, his voice trembling. "I can try to raise 60, maybe, but 300? That's impossible." "Ray," Mark said with a grin, "our friend here just lost his confidence. Otherwise, a man like Alex could easily make that kind of money if he really wanted to." "Exactly," Ray agreed. "He just needs a little reminder of what he's capable of." They walked him toward a dark, empty corner of the lot. A black Chevrolet waited there, its engine silent. Alex's heart pounded. He knew this could go either way, a beating, a kidnapping, maybe worse. Carlo Price was no ordinary loan shark. He was a blackmailer, too. Word on the street was he kept a private lockup, a kind of underground cell where men who couldn't pay their debts simply disappeared. Alex swallowed hard. He could almost feel death breathing down his neck. "Alex," Mark said suddenly, his tone turning coldly casual, "we hear you know a girl named Paula Jacobs." "Paula?" Alex froze, looking from one face to the other. Both men were expressionless, stone cold. After a moment, he nodded. "Yeah, I know her." Ray smirked. "We were thrilled to see you with her at Malibu Beach last week. Couldn't believe our luck. She's crazy about you. That much is obvious from the way she talks, the way she looks at you. Not much to look at, honestly. No real beauty, no charm, but still, you got into her head somehow." Mark's grin widened. "We called her last night, told her you wanted to meet tonight." As soon as Nick spoke, Alex could sense how deeply Paula longed to see him, like a mother missing her child. It was clear she had lost sleep over their separation. "Am I right, Nick?" Nick asked. "Absolutely," Mark said, nodding in agreement. "She's not just any girl. She's a rare, priceless gem." "You probably don't know much about her family," Nick continued. "Her uncle is one of the top 10 richest men in New York. Paula is his only heir. When she marries, her uncle plans to give her $10 million as a wedding gift." Alex froze. "10 million?" "Yes," Mark said, "but there's a condition. Any man Paula marries must pass her uncle's scrutiny, like a jeweler examining a priceless diamond. He'll even give the groom $500,000 as a gift. If you play it right, Alex, you can achieve this. You're already like her imaginary dream lover, and her uncle will be delighted to see you succeed." "Our boss is generous in his own way," Ray added. "He could crush a debtor for failing to pay, but instead, he gives them a chance to settle the debt. You have 3 more days to pay off your $350,000 debt, and he's also shown you a way to do it." Alex's mind raced. "But I thought it was 300,000. "That's correct," Mark said calmly, "but don't forget the interest for 3 months. Relax, Alex. Paula's uncle isn't just a millionaire, he's a billionaire, and Paula inherits everything. So,
What's $350,000 to you now?" Ray and Mark climbed into the black Chevrolet and drove off, leaving Alex standing there, stunned. It felt like he had just won the lottery. Paula was the sole heir to a fortune, and she clearly had feelings for him. It was as if fate had handed him a golden opportunity. Heart racing, Alex strode toward Riverside Cafe, where the woman who held his future in her hands was anxiously waiting. "Please, have a seat, Mr. Carter," a tall, thin man said politely. Alex couldn't believe such a wealthy man could be so humble. There was no arrogance, no pride, only warmth and refinement. His forehead was broad, and his neatly trimmed mustache gave him an air of sophistication. "Paula has spoken so highly of you. She's eager to meet you." "Thank you, sir," Alex said cheerfully. Paula's uncle spoke softly and politely, yet there was something unsettling in his gaze, sharp, almost piercing, that made Alex uneasy. He couldn't bear the intensity of those eyes and turned to glance out the window instead. "Sir, if you don't mind, may I use the restroom?" Alex asked, trying to sound calm. "Of course," the old man replied, pointing toward the door. "Thank you, sir." Alex stood, quickly stepped inside, and closed the door behind him. He exhaled deeply, finally alone. He needed a moment to collect himself. He looked through the small window. 6 stories below, a dazzling view stretched out before him. Young women, men, and children swam in the hotel's massive pool, while others lounged along its edges under the golden afternoon light. To Alex, they all looked like living symbols of wealth, laughter wrapped in luxury. Beyond the pool lay a perfectly manicured green lawn, then a stretch of golden sand, and finally the endless ocean, roaring under a pale winter sky. The air was cool now, too cold for anyone to brave the waves. Slowly, his confidence returned. He finally understood how the rich lived, carefree, surrounded by beauty and comfort. "Just a month or 2 more, and I'll be one of them," he thought. He smiled faintly, imagining himself swimming beside Paula in that same pool. His new life beginning. He was certain now that Paula loved him deeply enough to convince her uncle, even if the old man disapproved. She was, after all, her uncle's favorite. He remembered their conversation just 3 days earlier. "I want to tell you something," Alex had said softly. "Would you listen?" "Yes," Paula replied, her heartbeat quickening. "Go ahead." "Paula, I'm a realistic man. I dream, but I don't lie to myself. Sometimes I feel unworthy of you, and that feeling is killing me. I'm just a common man, a rough piece of cloth beside your velvet. I'm not perfect, but still, would you really want to spend your life with me?" Paula's eyes filled with emotion. "Yes, of course," she said gently. "Why are you so hopeless? Don't ever say things like that again. My heart may be delicate, but it's strong too. You're my ideal, Alex. I can't imagine my life without you. If I didn't feel that way, I would never have walked these unknown paths with you." He looked at her then, took her hand, and asked quietly, "But tell me, what do you see in me that makes you love me so much?" "I love you because you're not just brave, Alex, you're talented too. I don't just admire your skills, I truly respect them. You are the hero of my dreams, and that's why I let you into my heart," Paula said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I can't imagine how much I love you, Paula," Alex replied, his own voice thick with feeling. "But don't forget, I've lived a life of poverty and struggle. I'm not as educated as your uncle would expect. He might think I'm not good enough for you." "Alex, don't even speak about that again," Paula said firmly, her eyes shining with determination. "I will tell my uncle everything myself. I'll explain that you were orphaned just a few months after birth and raised in a small boarding home. That when you came into the practical world, you worked with a Russian circus and toured all over New York. That you chose this profession and became an expert at it. It's an honorable life, Alex, and I won't hide anything. My uncle values truth more than anything. Because he loves me, he will agree to our marriage. And if for some reason he doesn't, I don't care. I will marry you anyway. You're not just my love, Alex. You're my life, my right. No one can take you from me. Alex studied her face. Paula wasn't strikingly beautiful, but she had an inner strength and charm that drew him in. And more importantly, she was the sole heir to a fortune which would shape both of their futures. Still, Alex knew the key was winning her uncle's approval. He was careful to be honest with Paula so that no one could tarnish her trust with lies about his past. He remembered her call the night before. "My cousin has fallen ill in New York, Alex. My uncle wants me to spend a few days with her, so I'm leaving soon in his car. I've explained everything to him. He says you should meet him tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Grand Horizon Hotel. Dress in a black suit. It will make a strong impression. Alex, you are 1 in a million, and your personality will have a magical effect on him. I'll be back Sunday. Until then, remember, you are my love, and I love you deeply." Now, standing in her uncle's office, Alex took a deep breath. He moved away from the window, checked his reflection in the large mirror above the sink, and stepped out with quiet confidence. "Sit down, Alex," said Paula's uncle, Niles Horrison, seated behind a polished desk, a Russian cigar in his hand. Alex obeyed. "Paula has told me a lot about you," Niles said, his tone calm but commanding, radiating dignity. "These pictures show all my mistakes, all my crimes," Alex said quietly, his voice trembling. "But I want to make things right. I just need one chance."
As if you want to start a new life with Paula's love and wealth, right? Niles Harrison's tone was sharp and mocking. The glow of his cigar dimmed, and the proud sparkle in his eyes faded. His face suddenly seemed 20 years older. "I suppose it's my fault," he continued bitterly. "If I hadn't been so protective of Paula, maybe she wouldn't have fallen so easily for a man like you. You fooled her, Alex, and that's on me." He paused, his gaze piercing. "If I hand you over to the police, Paula will hate me. She'll think I'm framing you. And if that happens, she'll never be happy again. But make no mistake, I will never let you marry her." He leaned forward, his voice low and cold. "The only way out is this. You will break her heart yourself. Tell her you're already married, that you're going back to Chicago immediately. She'll suffer for a while, but time will heal her. She's returning on Sunday. You have until then." Niles pointed a trembling finger at him. "After that, I want you out of New York. If you ever try to contact her again, I'll make sure the police know everything about your record. I won't let my niece's future be destroyed. Is that clear?" "Yes, sir," Alex replied, his voice tight with rage and humiliation. Inside, he wanted to grab the old man by the collar, to silence his arrogance forever, but he forced himself to stay calm. "Even though I truly love Paula, I'll do as you say." He turned abruptly, opened the door, and stormed out like a man escaping a burning building. His chest heaved, his heart throbbed with fury. The old man's words echoed in his head like poison. He walked through the quiet streets of New York like a gambler who had lost everything. His throat was dry, his mind spinning. When he finally reached his apartment, he froze. Sitting calmly on his bed were Ray and Nick, Carlo Price's men. "Hey, Alex," Nick said with a sly grin. "I hope your little interview with Paula's uncle went well." Ray chuckled.
But you're back so soon. Something tells me things didn't go as planned. Alex shut the doors slowly, steadying himself. No, nothing went wrong. Mr. Harrison wasn't too happy about our relationship at first, but after some thought, he agreed. On one condition. I have to stay loyal to Paula. No flirting, no other women. Ever. Ray shot a knowing glance at Nick. "Ha! If anyone knows how to charm women, it's Alex," Ray said with a smirk. "Of course, the prettiest girls fall for him like moths to a flame," Ray said with a grin. "Tell us, did the old man take a dislike to you?" "No," Alex replied. "Then when's the wedding?" Mark asked. "In 2 months," Alex said, serious. "Congratulations! For a honeymoon, you can't beat Aspen. Beautiful spot. Too bad the Swiss Alps are unstable right now, otherwise that would have been perfect. We're heading out, but don't worry. We'll watch your back like shadows." They left, and Alex watched from the window until their car vanished down the street. He went to the kitchen, took a bottle of whisk drink. He'd lied to them, just a little, but the lie tightened his nerves. After 2 drinks, he calmed enough to think. He could hide the truth until Paula returned, but once she knew, Ray and Mark might turn violent. He was trapped. If he could marry Paula and claim her fortune, he could easily pay off the $300,000 debt and disappear, maybe to South Africa, where many of his countrymen lived and where Carlo Price's reach was weaker. There he could try to build a new life. Yet as long as Paula's uncle lived, Alex's path was blocked. A dark thought flashed through him. If the uncle were gone, the obstacle would vanish. Suddenly, a dangerous plan took shape in his mind. He imagined a future where, after claiming Paula and her wealth, he could make the problem disappear without witnesses. The idea sent a cold thrill through him. He knew it was wrong, but he also felt oddly satisfied as he sketched out the basics in his head. After a while, he left and made his way to Harper Market, a narrow, crowded lane of shops. At the corner sat a tailor's shop, a man known to deal in shady business and buy stolen goods. Alex told the tailor the name of the hotel and said he needed measurements for a staff uniform. Paula called Alex and told him that her cousin had recovered, so she would be in New York on Saturday evening instead of Sunday, because the separation from her was becoming unbearable. Alex told Paula to wait for him at his uncle's hotel restaurant at 1 o'clock in the night. Nick would also be with him. He urged Paula not to mention this meeting to her uncle. Paula agreed, promising that she would only speak to her uncle, Niles Harrison, on the phone. Alex knew that even so, his uncle would not disclose anything about this secret meeting. When Alex reached the Grand Horizon Hotel in a taxi, it was already 1 o'clock. Wearing a hotel employee uniform to avoid attention, he passed through the back entrance without any difficulty. After a short wait, he knocked on the door of Niles Harrison's room, mentally preparing for the tense and delicate moments ahead. Niles opened the door, surprised. "How did you come at this hour?" "I came to get the envelope, the one with the evidence against me," Alex said calmly. Before Niles could respond further, Alex moved swiftly to the desk drawer where the envelope was kept. He grabbed it and quickly went to the bathroom, disposing of the contents, papers and photographs from his past, in the toilet and flushing them, ensuring nothing was left behind. Alex paused, catching his breath. He had handled the situation, but the tension of the night still pressed against him. He locked the bathroom door from the inside and carefully moved to the window. Below, the hotel pool shimmered faintly, 25 feet down, blurred by shadows in the night. Dark clouds floated overhead, heavy with rain. It was 20 minutes past 1. Paula and Nick would be waiting for him in the restaurant. Every second was charged with suspense, every movement tense. Alex took a deep breath, his mind focused on what was to come next. Tonight, he would reclaim control over his life, but the danger had not yet passed. Alex imagined the girls swimming peacefully in the pool, their movements calm and graceful under the heavy, dark clouds. That image was enough to soothe his mind. This pool was 4 times larger than the one he had once jumped into from a height of 60 feet. He climbed onto the windowsill, confident he could jump with his eyes closed. Up until now, he had risked his life for just a few $100s, but today the reward awaiting him was so great that he could live a luxurious, dreamy life forever. For a fleeting moment, a dark thought flashed in his mind, a vision of placing a pillow over Paula Jacobs' face, putting her to sleep forever. He pushed the thought away, leaning forward contentedly, and jumped into the swimming pool below. Meanwhile, Paula and Nick were growing tired of waiting. He was supposed to arrive at 1 o'clock, but now it's 1:30. A waitress eventually brought them juice. When Paula drew the curtain aside, she asked, "What is written on this notice board? Why is there a crowd?" The hotel management apologized to the guests. They emptied the swimming pool for cleaning because a dead dog was discovered earlier in the afternoon. Water will be restored tomorrow morning after cleaning. Neither one of them knew that the Alex they were waiting for would never arrive. The pool into which he had jumped so fearlessly was now empty. Alex had lost his last chance at life.